Okay, let's talk about a different kind of AI. Not one that knows pretty much everything on the internet, but one that knows only, well, only what you teach it. This is NotebookLM, and it's designed to be your own personal expert, built entirely on your knowledge. It's a really simple idea, but it has some powerful implications. So, let's dive in.
You've been there, right? We all have. You ask an AI a question, you get this super confident-sounding answer. And then there's that little voice in the back of your head going, can I actually trust this? It's this fundamental uncertainty we face with most AI tools today. This experience, this simple chat box, has basically become our go-to for AI. We ask, it answers, and then we just kind of cross our fingers and hope it's right. But that reliance on hope, that's exactly where some of the biggest problems with AI today really begin.
And here's why we have that uncertainty. Tools like ChatGPT or Copilot are generalists. They've been trained on this huge, massive swath of the public internet. They're incredibly flexible, for sure, but they have absolutely no idea what your specific project documents say or what your team decided in that meeting last week.
And that leads to those frustrations we've all felt. The AI has zero clue about your specific context. It might hallucinate, which is really just a fancy way of saying it confidently makes stuff up. And maybe the biggest issue of all, it gives you an answer but won't show its work, leaving you wondering where on earth that information actually came from. So what if we just flipped that whole model on its head? This is where NotebookLM comes into the picture. It suggests a completely different starting point, one that begins not with the vast, chaotic internet, but with something much, much more focused. And this right here is the core idea. Instead of taking a guess based on its general training, NotebookLM's knowledge is limited exclusively to the documents, the notes, and the PDFs that you give it. Its entire world is just your information. And the process, honestly, couldn't be simpler. 1, you provide the sources, your PDFs, your notes, your docs. 2, you ask a question. And 3, the AI gives you an answer that is pulled only from that material, nothing else. That's the whole magic trick right there. Now, this simple little difference in the approach, it creates 2 fundamentally different kinds of tools. So let's actually put them side by side and see how they really stack up. You can really boil it all down to a pretty simple analogy. A general AI is kind of like a creative, fast-talking brainstormer. It's brilliant, but it can be a little all over the place. NotebookLM, on the other hand, is like your own private, super meticulous research assistant. It's focused, it's precise, and it only works with the facts you've already given it. So let's break down what that really means in practice. A general chatbot's source of truth is the entire internet. For NotebookLM, it's only your documents. And that shifts the whole point from creative brainstorming to consistent learning. But here's the most critical difference: traceability. A chatbot often gives you an answer with no source attached. With NotebookLM, every single response is tied directly back to a citation in your material. That's the difference between a tool for, say, creative writing and a tool for serious, rigorous analysis. And this quote just perfectly illustrates the philosophical difference here. When NotebookLM says, "I don't know," it's not failing, it's actually succeeding. It's confirming that the answer doesn't exist in the knowledge base you gave it, which stops it from making things up. That's not a bug, that's a feature. Okay, so given this very different approach, who is this tool actually for? Let's take a look at the kinds of work where this level of precision really, really shines. Really, the ideal users are people who live and die by accuracy and context. We're talking about researchers trying to synthesize a bunch of papers, students studying from their own notes, teams trying to work from a shared knowledge base, or even companies dealing with sensitive, regulated information where getting it wrong is just not an option. So why would you make the switch? Well, as you can see here, the top benefits all circle around one thing: reliability. You're getting source-based answers, which means way fewer hallucinations and much smaller error margins. This basically transforms the AI from a creative partner into a dependable tool for sharing knowledge and building a real long-term understanding from a consistent set of facts. This isn't just about a different set of features on a screen. It's about a completely different philosophy for how we should be using AI to help us think. It's a real shift toward working with evidence. And that's why it's better to think of it not as just another AI, but as a knowledge system. Its goal isn't just to spit out an answer for you. It's to help you structure what you already know, learn more deeply from your own materials, and ultimately to ask better, sharper questions. In a way, it actually encourages better habits. It kind of nudges you to work more like an expert does. By collecting your sources, building a solid foundation of knowledge, and then interrogating that knowledge, rather than just asking for a quick, context-free answer off the cuff. So, if there's one main thing to take away from all of this, it's this. A tool like NotebookLM doesn't try to replace human thinking. It tries to support it. By grounding itself in your evidence and giving you verifiable answers, it becomes a partner in the thinking process, not some kind of substitute for it.
And that really leaves us with a final question to chew on. If the AI you used wasn't some generalist, but a true specialist in your world, your projects, and your knowledge, what could you build then? Really makes you think. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.